I just can wait to be king because I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yep, yep. It's one hell of a whirlwind of adventure, and yeah, no, this one is really fun. Hi everyone, I'm Mike, and this is Mick and Mig, and we are here to discuss the third installment of one of our favorite movie series, Shrek the Third, in honor of Shrek Month. And yeah, the 20th anniversary of Shrek 2 was 2 days ago on May 19th. How fun was that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. What was your first experience watching Shrek the Third?
I didn't see this one in the theaters. It wasn't until my younger siblings got it on DVD that I actually managed to see it.
For me, what was interesting for me is in the same summer season in 2007, we had a trinity of third installments of trilogies in 2007. We had Spider-Man 3, Pirates of the Caribbean 3, and Shrek the Third. And believe me, when they announced there's going to be a fourth Shrek movie, I was like, oh, and a fourth Pirates of the Caribbean movie. I'm like,
we technically had a quartet.
Yeah. So those two had a quartet.
We had a quartet of trilogy. Rush Hour 3.
Was that the same year though? 2007? Hold on, was it?
Yes, Rush Hour 3 came out in 07.
That's
Rush
crazy.
Hour 3, yeah, that came out in 07, like a month after the Simpsons movie.
What? Oh, July. That's crazy. How did they not promote this? Because I remember there were like a lot of a lot of commercials like for like phone ads or whatever. They were promoting specifically the fact that these three movies in particular were having a third installment, and it was Spider-Man, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Shrek. So it was a trinity of trilogies. So it does feel weird that Rush Hour 3 was not included, or if it were, why in that particular film? Is it because Pirates is technically a kid's film or something? I don't know.
I think the other three were more like family friendly. Yeah, I think the other three were more, and then Rush Hour was more of a teen to adult thing.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love the third Rush Hour film, and I love the fact that one of the villains from Rush Hour 3 would later come back in my favorite Death Note movie as the main villain. But yeah, I only had enough budget to watch 2 out of those 3 movies, and yeah, and that's why I saw Pirates of the Caribbean 3 on DVD instead of theaters, because I had to watch Spider-Man and Shrek instead. I don't regret that choice, but it's funny that like I didn't get to see all 3 movies. But I'm glad that Shrek and Spider-Man were the 2 that I went with. I don't think I would have been able to see Rush Hour 3 at the time because I think it was rated R probably.
PG-13.
Yeah.
All the Rush Hour movies are PG-13.
Either way, it was a dark time for me that year, the first half of 2007. So, yeah, take the W's. Take the W's. Yeah. Speaking of dark times, let's talk about the general premise of this movie. This movie, Shrek 3, takes place after the sometime after the events of the second movie and its subsequent short film, Far, Far Away Idol, where Shrek and Fiona are basically taking over as king and queen because John Cleese's character, King Harold, is sick with, the case of death. So, So it's up to Shrek to find... He croaked. Literally. He literally croaked. Yeah. This is an X-Frock.
Yeah.
It's John Cleese. You expect me not to say it make a reference to my favorite John Cleese skit?
Yep.
He's bereft of life. He's pushing up daisies. He's 6 feet under. He joined the choir invisible. This is an ex-frog.
Only thing, this was the second frog he played, because he also played the character Jean Bob in the '90s animated film The Swan Princess.
Swan of the Princess, yes. It's like, yeah, even like, what's his name? Nostalgia Critic made jokes about him. He's like, I insult your mother. I spit at you.
I saw it in your general direction.
Yeah. So, yeah, this movie came out in 2007. It was directed by Chris Miller, screenplay by Jeffrey Prince et al., story by Andrew Jameson. And it stars our veteran cast of Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Antonio Banderas, Cameron Diaz. But it introduces a new supporting lead in the form of Justin Timberlake, who plays Artie. In other words, Arthur Pendragon. Interesting. Although I do have to say, it's kind of interesting that we have a character played by Justin Timberlake, because in the previous film, there was a poster in Princess Fiona's room that said Sir Justin. And it's clear that like this was like Justin Timberlake when he had his shaven phase with the goatee.
Yeah. Like during around the time Crime the River came out, around that time,
Yeah. So this movie had a budget of $160 million. Care to guess the box office?
Well, I know Shrek 3 wasn't as critically received as well as like 1 and 2. So I imagine there was a pretty big drop off in the box office. I want to say like at least made double its budget back.
Well, thankfully that wasn't the case, because it made back $813.4 million. So it's still in that 600% mark, though that percentage is still not quite as strong as the first and second one. Yeah. But yeah, so some of its accolades, it was nominated for several awards, mainly for Best Directing in an Animated Feature at the Annie Awards, BAFTA for Best Animated Film, Golden Reel for Best Sound Editing. Interesting. And believe it or not, two in the Kids' Choice Awards for Favorite Voice from an Animated Movie. Cameron Diaz and Mike Myers were both nominated, but Eddie Murphy won the prize. So, congrats, Eddie. Great job. It also won the Favorite Family Movie category for the People's Choice Awards, and it was also nominated for Outstanding Effects at the VES Awards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's got some accolades, not as many as the previous films, but it still did relatively well. But what's really interesting is that in terms of release, it's flushed away, because they needed something to really compete against Disney Pixar's Cars, which came out in the previous years. Yeah. So what's really interesting is that in addition to Justin Timberlake, we actually got some other comedy alums coming in for new character roles. Well, not so much new character. Well, some of them we've seen in the past, but haven't had voice roles yet. I mean, obviously we have Larry King coming back as one of the as both Ugly Stepsisters. This time we actually see both of them. And we have 3 SNL alums playing 3 of the princesses. Yeah, we got let's see. We had Amy Poehler, Snow White, Maya Rudolph as Rapunzel, and Sherry O'Terry as Sleeping Beauty. So, yeah, a lot of great voice sounds. And we have Amy Sedaris as Cinderella. Let's see. And interestingly enough, John Krasinski and Seth Rogen also have roles in this film, though much minor roles. But to be fair, it's 2007. The Office was there, but didn't quite have the, that Friends status that it has now. Now it has that friend status.
And then Seth Rogen was really. And then at that time, Seth Rogen was really only known for the 40-year-old virgin, so Superbad wasn't out yet at the time.
Yeah, which is funny because, like, if you really think about it, and that crazy thing is, like, beforehand, Seth Rogen was already like a TV star in Freaks and Geeks, but like he did not have quite the movie prominence until Superbad, where Jonah Hill would play him.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie though, thinking about Superbad now, it does feel kind of weird that one other police officer is played by Bill Hader and not by Evan Goldberg, because
Bill Hader?
Yeah, because like wouldn't it be interesting if the cops were both of the cops were played by the two main characters and not by one of them plus an SNL alum? Don't get me wrong, I love Bill Hader. He was the second best part of the Power Ranger movie, but I'm just saying, it's like, if you're going to have a movie about Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg as teenagers, and you're going to have Seth Rogen play a police officer, why not get Evan Goldberg to play the other police officers, is all I'm saying. It would have been a little funny.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, fun fact, I actually did watch the movie The Fall Guy today, and there was a scene where there was a guy dressed up as Shrek in the film, so it is kind of funny that, like, oh, I'm watching this movie that features Shrek, and now I'm going to be talking about Shrek. Now, in addition to those voice sounds, we actually do have quite a bit of controversy involving one of the other new actors in this film. So naturally, because we have Artie, we also have the character Merlin, who's played by Eric Idle, who, in addition to John Cleese, was also in Monty Python's Flying Circus and Holy Grail, Life of Brian, etc. But what's really interesting is that during the premiere of this movie, he walked out of the premiere and then came back to calm down. And the reason he walked out is because he got mad at one particular scene in the film and was ready to sue the creators of Shrek the Third. Now, let me ask you this.
What the hell?
Do you care to guess what scene he wanted to sue over?
Nah, it's kind of I'm kind of drawing a blank as to what.
I'll give you like three guesses. Like, if you want to like just throw them into ether, like really consider like the entire movie from the very beginning of the film to the very end of the film. There were like three scenes that you would just spitball as to which scene pissed him off. Which three scenes do you think it's going to be? And to people in the audience, you're welcome to guess. Let us know in the chat box.
I think it had some of that.
What was it?
I'm trying to remember. Was there a scene that referenced Monty Python?
Let's just say there might have been a scene that might have.
I'm not really able to think of anything right now. Yeah. I can't really think of anything.
I'll give you a hint. It's towards the beginning of the film.
Was it when John Cleese like croaked?
Surprisingly, no. No, it's actually the scene where Prince Charming was doing the dinner theater scene, because like you think the movie starts off with Prince Charming like riding on a horse through the woods, and it's like this epic scene, and he's like making the same monologue, and there we go. Miguel is hopefully back right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So you have that opening scene where he does the narration over again. I went through blistering winds and scorching deserts. And then when you zoom out a little more, turns out he's not actually riding a horse. He's actually riding on one of those like wooden sticks with a horse's head on it.
Yeah.
And while some Foley artist is using two coconuts to make the clacking noise, cluck, 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 cluck. And that's the scene that had pissed him off. Because because Monty Python did the same thing in Holy Grail.
I see.
And I'm like, really? This is like, and not to throw what's his name? Not to throw Eric Idle under the bus, but it just feels weird that, like, out of all the things, that's what you almost decided to sue this movie on. It's like, is Foley artistry not a thing? Because I remember like studying about Foley art, where you use random objects in a room to recreate sound effects, like. See, I was using this. Yeah.
I learned about that when I took film in high school. So yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, why? This is a thing, and they were just making fun of that in Monty Python. It's like, does Monty Python really have like a copyright on that one joke? I mean, yeah, if you do an open mic and you copy a Jim Jeffries joke verbatim, yeah, like the host will make fun of you and say, "Give it up for Jim Jeffries." And if you're wondering why I picked Jim Jeffries, because I was at a show where someone literally plagiarized Jim Jeffries, but I don't think Stephen Burr's gonna sue anyone if someone
like how.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Or like how George Lopez almost pretty much kicked Carlos Mencia's ass for that.
Yeah. You're not, and here's the thing: you're not going to see like Stephen Byrne sue anyone if they made the joke, "What do Chinese people call Chinese food?" Food. Like no one, like he's not going to sue. Like even though he was like the one guy who made that joke on stage. He ain't gonna sue anyone if they made that joke. And on the subject of Stephen Byrne, I've made a joke that was very similar to his one time, but I made my joke first. So technically, he copied me, but I'm not gonna sue him over it. It's like we both came up with. Well, it's not so much the same joke. It's just that our two different jokes have the same punchline, but they had definitely different buildups to them. So. But again, I did mine first. So if anyone's suing anyone, it's me suing him. But don't worry, I'm not going to sue Stephen Byrne because, I get it. Two guys can come up with the same punchline. It happens. I mean, how does Snickers and Baby Ruth happen without one of them suing the other? Yeah, but come on, man. Like freaking the Foley art joke with the horse. It's... that was kind of weird. But yeah, Prince is down in the dumps to the point that his private changing room is in the back alley. So he rallies all the evil fairy tale creatures and says, "Look, man, you've all been wronged. Why not us have our happily ever after?" And, I feel like to some extent, what could have worked is if they somehow combined Shrek 3 and 4, if like Rumpelstiltskin teamed up with Prince Charming to like sell the whole "where's your happily ever after?" So like it would like Prince Charming could make an evil deal with Rumpelstiltskin, and then like also now that I'm rewatching this movie, Rumpelstiltskin has a different design between this film and the next film. By the time I saw Shrek Forever After, I completely forgot what he looked like in the third movie, or that he was even in it. But now that I've rewatched this movie, I'm like, oh snap, they changed Rumpel's design. That's crazy. I would never have catch that if I wasn't like rewatching this. So yeah, the bad guys want to riot.
Yeah, the things you do catch when you rewatch old films.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Shrek is like trying to adjust his new life as king because, as we mentioned earlier, John Cleese is dying. And let me tell you, that montage is hilarious because when you see Shrek try to christen that boat, it's like watching the Hindenburg, except the Hindenburg is a boat. And then at that dinner party where they're wearing where they're all souped up, it's like that party ended up looking like the Hindenburg if the Hindenburg was a Rube Goldberg machine. And of course, when they got upset, it's like, how long do we have to do this? It's like someone better be dying. I'm dying. Wow, man. So basically, John Cleese's lungs look like the Hindenburg if it was a respiratory system. Rule of threes.
Yep.
But man, they really went out of their way to animate the death scene because like those facial expressions he was making and the different ways he was coughing and choking, I'm like, wow, they really went all out. It's like watching that joke from Family Guy when Peter's like, but on $1 million budget for 5 minutes. So much. Yeah, so much like in Return of the Jedi. No, there is another. Well, we're off to find Prince Artie to become the new king instead of Shrek. Oh, by the way, Shrek, there's something I need to tell you. I did not catch that. I did not hear you. I'm pregnant. What? I did not hear you. Yes, Fiona's pregnant. Something that gave Shrek obscene nightmares that gave me nightmares. Like, how did you feel about that dream sequence with the baby ogres? Like, how did that make you feel? Like
that was a bit of a trip. I mean, kind of almost reminded me of like when in Beavis and Butthead. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of felt like it was, like it was just trippy. Like, I can understand why some people might be freaking out over that.
Yeah, no, I remember a scene similar to this in Son of the Mask, but this is where I really start to notice that if you try too hard to make something CGI look cute, it ends up looking scary. And if there's more of it, it's going to look freakish and nightmare fuel. Case in point, the porgs from Star Wars. You think one porg might look cute, but when you see a
crosses the Uncanny Valley.
Yeah, it's not even an Uncanny Valley thing. It's just, but yeah, low-key, you are right. And as Judah Freelander from 30 Rock would say, it's like, here you got R2-D2 and C-3PO. And away over here is Han Solo. He acts like he doesn't care, but he does. And down here we have a CGI stormtrooper. No, make it go away! Sorry, Tracy, but it's not going to go away. You're trapped in the valley. No, I will make that video game. Oh man, I miss Tracy Morgan. He used to make really good prank shows. Oh yeah, he was in that one movie with Drake Bell, wasn't he? Where he played Professor X.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he was also in Bruce Willis with Cop Out.
Yeah, aka the worst Will Smith movie ever made. Although not Will Smith, Kevin Smith. Now I'm trying to imagine Kevin Smith making a Will Smith movie. It's crazy, man.
Oh no.
Like the thing about Cop Out is Kevin Smith has a very particular way of doing stand-up comedy, and what he does is he frames his comedy in the form of a Q&A forum where people ask him questions and then he answers them in stand-up format. And there was one particular show called Too Fat for 40 where the very first question asked in the entire special was, what's it like working with Bruce Willis? And the answer to his question was so long that it took up the first 50 minutes of the entire 60-minute special. So to answer your one question, and he went off on so many tangents, and they were hilarious. Like about like when he lived in Ben Affleck's house, when he went to Canada and smoked weed, or some other stuff he made jokes about. But the point, there was even some stuff about Red State. But the point is, to answer that one question took up most of the entire comedy special, which is hilarious in itself. But yeah, so Shrek and Donkey and Puss end up in a school setting, and it makes me cringe at how dated our middle school experience was back in the 2000s. Like if, and of course you got Sir Loud.
I was already out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Lucky you. Like, I hope you didn't have to deal with like those mean girl stereotypes in your high school experience. But me, I got those out of the way early. Like, I experienced it in middle school, changed schools in the 9th grade, best experience of my life. Well, until I graduated and went to college. But as far as K through 12 goes, the best time of my life was in the last 3 years of high school, where I didn't have to deal with any of that bogosity that was 6th through 9th grade. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And of course, like, Artie does that epic "I love you, Beth Cooper" speech where it's like next time you hear that, guys, I'm gonna be king. Next time you try to dump someone in a trash bin or reject them at prom, just remember they might be king, and their first decree might be to banish you bastards. Oh, and Gwen, I've loved you my entire life. Like, ew.
Oh
yeah. Oh man. Man. Of course, things go sideways just as quickly because Puss and Donkey are not the best people to explain how royalty works. In case your food might be poisoned. Yeah. Yeah. And meanwhile, the bad guys try to take over far, far away. There's some funny scenes in there. And of course, the princesses and queen try to escape while Pinocchio, Gingy, Wolf, the 3 pigs. Yeah, I think that's everyone. Like, try to stall Prince Charming. And we have one of the funniest scenes where Pinocchio's really holding things down. Like, I might not know where he might not be. So you know where he's be. I cannot say for sure whether it's a positive or negative of where he can or cannot be at any particular moment, but... And, like, he is holding it down. The guy's got his cool. Like, I am genuinely being impressed. Because, like, you expect Pinocchio to cave very easily because either A, I don't know where he is, or I don't know where he is. Shh. But he's holding it down just for Pig 2 to sell everyone out.
Yes.
Pig 2. I always felt like Pig 2 was my least favorite. I always felt like he was my least favorite of the 3 pigs. Now I know why. And by now, I mean 2007. You had one job to do. Stay quiet. And you squealed. You just squealed.
Yeah.
You just had to squeal. And of course, the princesses try to escape, but turns out they were sold out by Rapunzel. Now, it's kind of interesting. Rapunzel, by that point, was the only princess from the Shrek team that wasn't animated by Disney yet. So it's kind of interesting that she's...
Tangled didn't come out until like about a couple years later.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting that this is the one princess that sells everyone out. And you think it might have been... Snow White because she's the most adversarial of the group. But she's the Ino Yamanaka of the group. She's mean, but she keeps it real. Yeah.
True.
Yeah, and of course we finally meet Merlin, where thanks to him we do have a beautiful heart-to-heart between Shrek and Artie, where Shrek reveals, "My dad tried to eat me. He bathed me in barbecue sauce and put me to bed with an apple in my mouth." And I'm like, geez, this onion has more layers than I thought it had. And I'm just trying to imagine what it must be like to bathe in barbecue sauce, because it's
gotta be sticky.
Yeah, because of all that molasses. But as they're on their way, unfortunately, Puss and Donkey ended up in a position where they switch places. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's a catastrophe, and they struggle. So honestly, one thing I like about that is that it's like watching an episode of Teen Titans where Raven and Starfire switch bodies, and they both have to learn to control their emotions in different ways.
Yeah, I always think of the Maji Ranger episode where Maji Red and Maji Pink switched episodes switched bodies.
Yeah, I want to see, remember that plan in the American version where it's hey, let's switch our opponents, but then Blue had the idea of, why don't we all be blue? All I could think about is, why did they just do that from the beginning? Just repaint the Blue Ranger suit yellow, the Yellow Ranger suit blue, repaint the Red Ranger suit black, and repaint the Black Ranger suit red. So then they would still be fighting the wrong Ranger.
Wasn't that Mega Ranger, not Mon? That was Mega Ranger, not Maji.
Mega Ranger.
Yeah, I said Maji.
Oh, I thought you said Mega. But to be fair, I didn't watch either of those 2 seasons yet. But I do remember In Space, though.
Yeah.
But hey, at least it's not Tokyuger, where it's just Tokyo Ichigo trolling, what's his name, Daigo.
Pretty much.
It's wait, why is the Pink Ranger doing the baton pass? Oh, Grisha change. Rituresha. Okay, so here we are. Oh wait, hold on. I got my own fairy tale friend here, and he just left. Yeah. So where we last left off. Where did we leave off? Oh yeah. So we find out
the body swap. Yeah.
Yeah. So we find out through what's his name, Hook, that King Charming wants to take over Far, Far Away, and he wanted Shrek for a particular show in order to exact his revenge. Meanwhile, we finally get the princesses to break out because it's did you think you got your fighting skills from your father? And that's when we get one of the best scenes in the entire film.
Yeah.
5 princesses from far, far away, you're about to kick some big ass. You better watch out.
Yeah.
'Cause these princesses, they'll kick your butt. It isn't Shrek the Third. Yeah, and of course, Shrek and Artie do get captured, but Shrek lets them escape by saying, "See, you're not really the chosen one. It was me. You're just a stand-in, so you get sent to the volcano instead of me." What? You betrayed me. Ooh, what you say? So of course they let Artie go. But at that point, we have that beautiful moment in the making of okay, I love this one scene where we see all the monsters getting ready for the play, where you got those tree ants just doing those plies, ballet style, and like and
Oh yeah.
and freaking Prince Charming kills like 2 stunt doubles completely unintentionally. I'm like, see, this is why movies like The Fall Guy exist, because these 2 dead guys are the unsung heroes.
Pretty much.
Oh man, I feel bad for those guys. You know, this is why, ladies and gentlemen, you use prop swords when you're training. This is why you use prop guns when you're shooting. They shoot blanks. And you always got to check the safety. I'm looking at you, Mr. Jack Donaghy. Because how many Brandon Lees in the world do we need before we say enough? We need standards in how we check our prop weapons in the making of film or stage productions.
Yeah.
By the way, I found out something really interesting recently, that the actor who played Fun Boy never watched the Crow movie in his entire life, all the way to the day he died.
Oh wow.
Not once did he watch the film The Crow, because of the fact that he was still traumatized by the fact that he accidentally killed Brandon Lee.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, The Crow also came out this month, 30 years ago.
Damn. It's been a long time.
Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, we did do the Crow month back in January, but just letting you guys know, yes, we the month of May is the anniversary for the first Crow movie, just as it is the anniversary for Shrek 2. And yeah, I actually have movie tickets for the Crow movie for the 30th anniversary screening next week. Okay. So we have this beautiful moment where Shrek has a conversation with the Cyclops. It's like, I can't believe someone as ugly as me could have someone as beautiful as you, talking to his daughter. And that's when Shrek realizes, like, you know, I've been believing I'm an ogre for too long. I've been told I am a monster, and I started to believe them. But it is up to me to understand that it is for me to be the bigger ogre and not act like one. I can have children, but I don't. Just because my father tried to bathe me in barbecue sauce doesn't mean that I have to bathe my own children in barbecue sauce. I can be a father. So, of course, we have this epic climax where we have that play production, and Prince Charming is incredibly flat. He sounds... And I'm pretty sure Rupert Everett was directed to sing like that, but all I can think about is, God, this guy sounds worse than me doing my first karaoke, which which interestingly enough was "Livin' La Vida Loca" by Ricky Martin. But I love how, like, even though he's shackled and ready to be executed, Shrek is roasting the hell out of Prince Charming. Hey, buddy, come here. Come here. Look who's here. Look who it is. This is the donkey to my Shrek, and the puss to my Shrek. Come here, buddy. Buddy. Yeah. He's my little sweetheart, isn't he? Look at him. Look how cute he is. Like he could do the Puss in Boots eyes where he's like so adorable. Like for me, I love how you just roast him, because it's like, if you're gonna die, you better die with a smile on your face, because not in the Joker way, but in a way where it's like, I'm not even gonna give you the satisfaction of enjoying my execution. I like that. He's like, will you at least kill me before you continue singing? And honestly, I'd be with him, you know, like I don't know if you've watched Married with Children, but there was like an episode where Peggy was reading a storybook to Seven, and like basically all the main characters were like inserted into certain character roles. And there's a part where the actor who played Steve came back and he's like singing this opera, and he's been doing it to the extent that almost everyone on the ship like either jumped overboard or just impaled themselves with their own rapiers. Because it's like, I'd rather die than to continue listening to this.
Oh, yeah, I remember Married with Children.
Yeah. So of course we got Artie making this big speech because Puss and Donkey like help him understand that, hey, Shrek lied to you about you being the king, but also he hurt your feelings so that he could save you. Because if you stayed, Prince Charming would have killed you. But now Shrek is sacrificing himself so you can live on. And it's like, damn, Shrek is being a father in this movie. He's not just being a father, he's being a dad. Like Uther may be your father, but he ain't your daddy. Hold on, let me try that again, but with like a Scottish accent. Uther may be your father, but he ain't your daddy. Your real dad. Now he is a man of layers, like an onion.
Yep.
And then Artie makes this epic speech. Listen, we all have layers. All of us are like onions. Just because people say we smell bad doesn't mean we need to let that run our lives. And that's when everyone has that Digimon 02 moment. It's like, I want to open a barber shop in France. I want to grow daffodils. Beautiful daffodils. And we Chileans, we want to work at Broadway. And it's like, everyone lays down their arms, realizes we don't have to fight. Just because we are labeled the bad guys doesn't mean we have to be the bad guys. It's like we finally watched those three episodes of Spider-Man where there is a black kid who's always treated like a criminal and then decides to become a criminal, and then Spider-Man has to scare him straight. Not really, that actually happened. Robbie's son.
That was a 90s Spider-Man, right?
90s Spider-Man. You got a Robbie's son when he decided to work for Tombstone, Rocket Racer, and of course Aaron himself, Mr. Prowler. 3 instances where it's like people treat me like people look at me like a criminal, so I may as well become one so their accusations will be correct. No, that's not what you do. You have to keep proving you're the good guy so that they would realize their prejudice is all wrong. Just because you're a treant doesn't mean you have to be a villain. Just because you're a pirate doesn't mean you have to be a villain. Just because you're an ugly stepsister doesn't mean you have to be ugly on the inside. Look at these sisters. Drag sisters. I'm just kidding. No, they're both women. But they're both voiced by Larry King, so
yeah.
So everyone puts down their arms except for Prince Charming, and then Shrek fakes his death, like in what seems like a lightsaber moment. And ironically, he goes out the way Farquaad did. Getting killed by dragon in some way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, Shrek and Fiona finally have those babies, and they have a beautiful sequence where they're enjoying their lives together. So, Fiona, what do we do now?
Yeah, that part was funny.
Yeah. And of course, that's the end of the story. Now, there is a companion piece. There was a Shrek Christmas special. It's not on the DVD, but it was the companion to it. And basically, it's Shrek celebrating his first. It basically takes place a year later after the events of Shrek Forever. No, after the events of Shrek the Third. They're celebrating the first Christmas. Shrek at first doesn't want to be part of it because, oh goodness, do you not celebrate Christmas? But of course, he learns the error of his ways, and they have a Christmas party at the end. That's it. That's all you have to know. There was no Universal Studios show for it like the first short was. There's no choose your ending sequence like the second one. It's just an ABC special that just happens to exist. That's all.
Pretty much, yeah.
Say, go. It's over. What are you waiting for? Go. Bye.
Like Ferris Bueller, yeah.
Why am I doing these Ferris Bueller references? This is an Inspector Gadget. It's not even the producers. Although I will say this, if I got tickets to see Prince Charming's play, I would want a refund. I don't care if they do play Springtime for Hitler sung by John Barrowman. I'm still gonna ask for a refund.
Yeah, I would too.
That's it for the movies. So let me ask you this: as far as the newly introduced characters go, who were some of your favorites?
Well, I did like Artie, of course. I mean, Justin Timberlake did a pretty good job for like his first voice role in like movies. I mean, I know he did other voice roles later, like playing Boo Boo in the Yogi Bear movie.
Yeah,
but yeah, you actually get to see him like build that foundation.
And he also did what's his name, Theodore in Alvin and the Chipmunks.
That was Jesse McCartney.
Really? I thought that was Justin Timberlake. Was Justin Timberlake one of the Chipmunks?
No, Justin Long was Alvin. Matthew Gray Gubler was Simon, and Jesse McCartney was Theodore.
I know that in the remake of DuckTales, they had a really cool cast, like Danny Pudi, Ben Schwartz, and Bobby Moynihan. But like, could have sworn Justin Timberlake was in one of those movies. Oh well, but this wouldn't be the last project we see Justin Timberlake with Cameron Diaz, because it would co-star with Jason Segel in what's called Bad Teacher.
That's true. And then, of course, Merlin, played by Eric Idle. I mean, I know him from Monty Python, but it's not the first thing I remember him from. Like, first thing I remember him was from the Casper movie where he played Dibs.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I really like. I really like the Casper movie because like it's kind of crazy. You had Bill Pullman and Christina Ricci in that film, and boy, do I love me Bill Pullman. It's kind of interesting how like earlier on he used to be the reporter for the president in the Newsies, and then later on he would become the president in Independence Day, and then he would get reelected as president in the sitcom 1600 Penn with Josh Gad.
True. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But overall, like Artie, Merlin, those were great characters. Those are like some of the standouts.
Yeah. I really like those. I especially like the princesses because I love their back and forth with each other. But I especially love that one joke where it's like, ladies, assume the positions, and then like they're just like lying there waiting for Prince to save them.
Yeah,
and I really love how they really give depth to these characters because it's like they all contributed in some way to the whole like Shinobi mission, and like I even had like a name for them when I said when like I saw that scene, I was like, it's like they are a super European Princess Kanoichi squad. And yes, much like Mr. Marcellus Wallace, I'll break it down. Super meaning awesome. European, which is the continental region, which includes Germany, Switzerland, Italy, France. Princess, which is a rank of nobility, second only to queen, and then Kunoichi, which is the term used for a female ninja, and then squad, which means a group of people working together to achieve a common task. Super European Princess Kunoichi squad. I'm the one that makes the funny quips. Now catch up.
Okay.
All right. So there's a lot of great songs in this one. So let me know, what was your favorite song that they included in the soundtrack?
Probably the one from the montage when they're like showing Shrek's kids interacting with like Donkey and Dragon's kids.
Yeah, that was a great song. Yeah. Yeah, for me, I still have to say like the immigrant song was the best part just because like you have that sequence. But if I had to rule that one out, I do find it interesting that they went with "Live and Let Die" by Paul McCartney when King Harold finally croaked. It's like they had a
So
really
do
great,
I.
yeah, they had a really great soundtrack. If I will say this though, if I had any complaint, it does feel kind of weird that like as soon as they completed that one scene with the immigrant song, they immediately cut to Barracuda by Heart. Don't get me wrong, it's also a good song, but like I wish that like we had like a little more of both songs. I mean, they could have done like
Pretty much.
they could have done a remix between them. You know, kind of like how like DJ Mighty Mouse took Jay Z's Black album and Paul McCartney's White album and made a gray album. You know, I mean that's the route I would have went with at
Yeah.
least. So, were there any scenes in particular that stood out to you the most? Like maybe a plot twist or anything?
Probably, yeah, the end when like Artie's giving his speech and like everyone's kind of like just laying down their arms. I mean, that was probably the one that like really hit me the hardest.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to say, like, watching it at my older age, I have to agree with this one. You know, like, I really like that speech because, you know, I feel like that's what a lot of people are like having to deal with, like with the advent of social media, where it's like, like there was a time when people would always have to like try to do what like their parents told them to do, and then they would struggle with the fact that they're not doing what their parents wanted to do. They want to do something else. But like now, there's like a sort of a paradigm shift where it's not so much what like striving to what your parents want you to do, but more of like what social media is telling you to do. Like you have to have this opinion. You have to do this. You have to do that. And if you don't agree with me, it's like you're automatically the bad guy. It's like, you know what? Maybe everyone has a potential to be a good guy or a bad guy, and how you go about it that makes you truly good or evil. You know, and again, it's like maybe once in a while, just deactivate your social media for about a week, let's say, and just have some fresh air. Go on a hike, read a book, go to a gym, splash your face with water, go see a therapist if you feel like you need one. There's nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. But the point is, sometimes certain parts of our environments, whether macrocosmic or microcosmic, can be pretty toxic. And yeah, if you have a bunch of villains hanging out with other villains, of course, they're all going to echo into each other that we're all bad guys and we should keep being bad guys. So yeah, make your life what you want it to be by striving to do better. It's like what Joey Swell said: you need to do better.
Mind your own business.
Exactly. And so, what score would you give this film?
Overall, I don't think it was like as good as the first two, but it still had some really solid moments throughout. So I'd probably give it maybe like a 7.5 out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, I would say it's an 8 because it was so fun. I definitely watched it more times than the first Shrek. Not saying that the first Shrek was bad or that it was worse than the third one, but I will say this: it really did feel like the series peaked with the second one. Now the decline wasn't too steep, going from second to third, but the slope was still on a decline. It had great moments, but I don't know, something about the second one, like, was just so well executed that it just felt like something was not completely on that level with this one. It's hard to even put my finger on it when I'm even trying to think about it. And I am trying to think about it. So for this one, 8 out of 10. So, ladies and gentlemen of the audience, let us know what you thought of this film. Oh boy, Shrek the Third. Yep, Shrek the Third. Here we are. Gotta love one scene in particular. Gee, I wonder what scene you're thinking about. Ooh, a puppy. Yeah, that's right. My doggo was here earlier. He's so cute, isn't he? This was a fun film, not as good as Shrek 2, but it still had some fun and well-timed jokes. Yeah, although I would say the Harold's death did drag a little bit, though. But I did like the scene with Captain Hook. OMG, I remember 1600. Yeah, it was a great sitcom. It only had one season, but it was pretty fun. You know, Bill Pullman's the president. He's got kids. Got to take care of them while also taking care of the country. You know, while he was one of the better portrayals of a president, it is yet another example of why I definitely do not want to be president, even if they amended the 12th Amendment. So yeah.
I mean, I'm old enough to run, but yeah, no, thank you. That's too much responsibility.
Yeah. As the Animaniacs would say, the next president to lead the way might just be yourself one day. Then the media would distort everything you say. So hop on the plane and fly away. Exactly. Good times. Yeah. And that's it for Shrek and the comments section. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Ding the bell icon to stay notified for our latest videos, and share the video to your friends and family because it helps us out with the algorithms. We do various movie reviews, TV reviews, and what's it called? And right now we're doing Shrek month. We're 3 out of 4 films complete. So next week on the 28th, we will be doing Shrek Forever After. And once we're done with that, that's it for Shrek month. We might do another movie for June or July. We haven't decided yet. I know that for October, maybe we're going to do John Wick. Who knows? Maybe. But definitely check out our sister channel, the Morphin Network, where it's Morphin Time all the time, where we do discussions on various seasons of various tokusatsu, like Ultraman Rube on Mondays, Kamen Rider Gotchard on Wednesdays, Bakage Sentai Boom Boomja on Thursdays, and Kamen Rider Kiva on Sundays. And if you want to check out our personal content, where can the ladies and gentlemen find you?
You can find me over on Instagram at that blue dinosaur guy.
Yes, I actually saw today's episode of Are You Invited to the Carne Asada? It's yeah, you're right. You're definitely right on that one. And of course, you can find me on Instagram at Boken_Kabuto and on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto. With all that said, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay hydrated, update your emergency kits, hug your loved ones, and may you have a Shrek-tastic rest of your week. Goodbye.